let's see if I'm right. I'm going to put this back on. He was one of the translators, the key principal translator for Cristobal Colon, and I believe he spoke 5 different languages. One of them was Hebrew. He spoke Hebrew, Arabic, Latin, and I guess Castilian, Spanish, and maybe another language which I forget. I got to go back to the source. But this man was a translator for Columbus, and they knew to bring him along with some other translator. He was a key one because they knew that they were going to encounter Hebrews.
And he came over here with 5 Hebrew interpreters. So why would he go looking for India if he came with 5 Hebrew interpreters? So you can begin to see the lies. Once you tell one lie, you got to tell others. Hence the name why they were referred to as Indians. In history, wrote that to avoid calling them Issachar, Zebulun, Asher, Gad, Reuben, etc. To avoid saying,
Brazil. The word Brazil is a Hebrew word. And when they first came over there, they called the land of Brazil, they called it after the word brass in the Hebrew is barazal. I'm sorry, iron. They had iron, brass, oil, gold, silver, but there was a lot of iron down there, and they called it barazal, which is Brazil, is a Hebrew word. Brazil is a Hebrew word. Barazal, iron.
Calling them that, they just called them Indians. All right? But Luis de Torres, the first European who discovered the use of tobacco. See, he mentioned tobacco slavery. All right? Was also the first person of the Jewish stock who settled in Cuba. He won favor of the ruler of the Kaki. I think that means a chief. All right? And received from him presents, not merely lands, but also slaves, 5 adults and a child. The king and queen of Spain granted him a yearly allowance of 8,645 maravedis. I guess that was Spanish money back then. And he died in newly discovered land. All right? Columbus found natives who had their own kakis and their own language and traditions, but they didn't tell you that that language was a Semitic language, which was actually connected to the ancient Paleo-Hebrew. They left that part out when they wrote this book. This book was written by a convert Jew.
See, and you can't get around it, man. This truth, if you don't accept the scriptures, there's other evidence you can go by. There's a book, History of the Indian or the American Indian by James Adair. And in the book, he said he traded amongst them, and he came to the conclusion that they had to be Israelites because they were speaking Hebrew, and they were keeping Israelite customs. So he said, these are the Israelites.
Surely. All right, so he knew that these people were the real Israelites, the real people of the Lord. All right, to what race did these aborigines in Americas belong? Several writers have asserted and have displayed much learning in attempting to prove that the aborigines were descendants of the Jews. All right, and it says, this result was reached already in the 16th century by Spanish clergyman Rodman, Rodman is one of my sources. His arguments were derived from an unpublished manuscript which he discovered in the library in San Pablo in Seville, Matosinhos, and possessed the manuscripts of Luis Lopez, and learned Bishop of Quito was convinced that the Peruvians were of the Jewish origin. Right? They were the Israelite origin. See, they keep using that word Jewish. Jewish are basically the Edomites who converted to Judaism. Right?
And the Peruvians, I used to work with some Peruvians, and they used to tell me, in Nazca, Peru, you have a lot of UFO sightings down there. Like you go there any given night, you'll see some activity up in the heavens. But they called them omnis, because I was telling them UFOs. They said no, we call them omnis, and they knew that they were angelic angels in them ships.
Right. It says the view of Roman and Gregorio Garcia. The Aboriginals of America were descendants of Jews, all right, was maintained with many arguments in the same year, 1650, independently by Englishman Thorogood, and he's also one of my sources, and by Portuguese Jew Manasseh ben Israel, the renowned rabbi of Amsterdam, who induced Cromwell to allow the Jews to return to England, seeing Cromwell was the one who got rid of all the Israelites out of Ireland, Scotland, and Britain, out of England. Okay? Remember that. In Portuguese, Moreno, now Moreno, when you look up the definition of Moreno, it tells you there's a Negro, a Jew, or more, because those cryptos Jews, those Moriscos, all right, which many of them were race traders because they actually helped oppress and take their own people into captivity, working with Esau, and a lot of them will refer to themselves as Moorish today. All right, it says Portuguese Moreno of Villafort, who strange to say also called himself Montesinos, and afterwards assumed the name of Aaron Levi, informed Manasseh that he had mingled in South America with Jews of the 10 tribes. See, and where will we find it out? In the Apocrypha. All right, in Second Ezra 13 and 40. So that's where they came from. It gives you how they left the so-called Middle East, sailed around.
And I believe it mentioned the 10 tribes. It says another peaceable people. And it goes on to say, and then they shall come. They are Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
Down out into the Arabian Ocean, down around the Horn of Africa, over into the Americas. It explains that. All right? But it says, Manasseh's book attracted much attention and was translated into Latin, Spanish, Dutch, English, Italian, and Hebrew, nor has it ceased even to this present day. So there's been many books written. As a matter of fact, a lot, and at the bottom of this book, the pages of these books, they show you the resources. If I can get it to focus, they show you there it is, the resources of this information. This is what I love about those books, where they came from. All right. So everything that I read is showing you the resources of where they came from, and they're all from the 1600s. All right. This treatise of the origin of the Americans was reprinted 12 years ago by Spaniard Santiago Perez Junquera. The descendants of the Americans is, in fact, a question which has often been discussed since the discovery of America down to present day. Even in recent times, the Englishman Lord Kingsborough, also one of my sources, devoted his time, his attendees, and greater part of his large fortune to the publication of a collection of American documents in order to prove the Jew.
So these devils know, man. They know. And they put these books together and this evidence together for themselves, not for us, not for the Negro on the corner. They put it together for themselves because they know, but it's a well-kept secret. Not anymore. But anyway, I stopped it at 15 minutes and 11 seconds in. You can watch the last minute of it, and you can watch the whole video that was put up by Elder Malcolm. Anyway, I ran into the video. I kind of watched it. Made me wanted to kind of do a response to it. You know me. Hey, and all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. We almost out this bitch. at him and say, Shalom.